This afternoon, I'm having a nice meal here in the house. A wonderful supporter stopped by, and they're like, didn't know if this was the right place, kind of thing. And I look out the window. I'm like, are they here for Josh? Who are these people? I don't know. And then she's like, I brought something for you. Gives me some groceries, and it's a nice birthday card. It's the first birthday card I've got this year. I don't expect to get many, although I know Mom did send something in the mail. Have an awesome day. Have a wonderful birthday, Joey. Man, what great timing, too, because my idea today was like, well, today is my 57th month of sobriety. 57 months today since I never drank again. Since I decided or accepted or whatever you want to call it. And with the birthday coming up, I was like, I need to do something. I got to treat myself. I'm hungry. The reality is, like, I'm trying to make sure at the end of every month, I'm not in overdraft when I pay the child support, right? So, like, this has been a month of, like, save every penny, every bit of revenue that comes into the channel, every donation, just sit on it, save it. So now I'm actually have gone from overdraft to a couple $100 ahead, thanks to everybody. And YouTube payouts are coming in a number of days and blah, blah, blah. So I'm feeling like I'm going to be okay. Nonetheless, like, I can't really afford to go treat myself in town. That's the thing. But I put out the tornado video, and I was going to immediately after go to town, treat myself. And then what happened too was, so I'm airing, the premiere's on, and of course people are chatting in the comments and whatnot, and I'm chatting. And then I look out the window and this person's there, and I'm like, oh, I'm in the middle of watching my premiere. I'll go see what it's about. And then this happens, right? And saves me the trip to town. At a timely time, birthday week and sober day, the 13th, and just, I so appreciate it. There was a birthday cake in there. It's not a very fancy meal. I probably would have had something more fancy in town, but it saved me the money of going to town. I have to go to town tomorrow anyways because I'm getting the kids for a couple days. Long story short, they're coming here for a number of days, and I can't wait for that. I haven't had them here this weekend. So I have to go to town tomorrow anyways. And I have no groceries left. I'm just like, I've really been not eating much a lot of days when the kids aren't here. I've been like living in poverty, being very frugal, right? So just thanks for the emotional support, B, the physical support. It means a lot to me, and I appreciate it. And I want to talk about my sobriety for a little bit today and relate to all this. But first, I'm going to eat my lunch because I'm super hungry. I deserve a good meal. She even brought treats for Kenny, which is so super thoughtful of people. People are thoughtful. A lot of people are. And we forget that because we're constantly bombarded with the loudness of people who aren't thoughtful for others. Looking back now, I know that I was a completely broken-hearted child. Completely broken-hearted. From a very young and tender age. Broken-hearted. And how I learned to deal with this in part, I mean, there's a lot of answers to that. But one of the things I learned to do was beat myself up, to self-deprecate, or to sort of convince myself that maybe in some way I guess I deserve it or deserved that. Whether or not I was actually a good person didn't really matter because the world's going to be mean to you anyways. You're not safe with them. They will hurt you. They will let you down. And it really doesn't matter. And it's not that I stopped being a good person. No, I've always known that about myself. Even through the worst parts of my depression and trauma, that I went through, I knew deep down that I was a good person. I just didn't think anybody would ever see it or it would lead to anything, or it didn't matter. It was like part of the heartbreak. Part of the heartbreak was like, look, I mean so well. Why? And I do care. I do want better, and just coming to this point where I just said to myself, I'm complete shit. Man, and I came so close to fucking ending my life. Like, it's unbelievable looking back now, and I'm still in shell shock from that, you know, how to add to your trauma, double down on behaviors that are traumatic. So I stopped doubling down on behaviors that were traumatic. I stopped drinking. And then I tried to stop beating myself up, and I started to change the narrative as best as I could to one where I forgave myself, tried to forgive others, and tried to continue in that path of empathy, but now extend it to myself. Have some, not pity, like in a pathetic way. Have some compassion for yourself. This way. Have some compassion for yourself, right? Try to not hold everything you've ever fucking done wrong against yourself. One of the reasons Alcoholics Anonymous fails people is because it doesn't teach you to take that power back. You know, like, I don't subscribe to the idea that I am still an alcoholic. I'm not weak. I don't need a higher power. I need to trust myself for a change. Respect myself. Take some of that power I didn't have or didn't believe I have and own it and live it and run with it. Be the opposite of what I was. I was weak and broken. I'm not good enough. It doesn't matter if I am good enough. So here I am, 57 months sober. And I'm still afraid that people are gonna be mean. Still afraid of being hurt. Still afraid. Still trying to come out of my shell. Still trying to trust. Still trying to not be over vulnerable and speak what I feel. I used to be really good about speaking my feelings to people, and I was very open, and I was a way I did cope with things, and then that kind of got beaten out of me, and to the point where I was like, well, not saying what I think and feel is probably the easiest way to just not have some of the people that are in my life yelling and screaming and fighting at me and telling me that I'm shit. That's another thing that changed. I won't let anyone in my life that tells me I'm shit in any way, you know, and that doesn't mean I'm not open to criticism or constructive conversation. I was always open to that. But I don't want to be called an asshole ever again by somebody who wants to be close to me. So there's a huge boundary there, and of course that's predicated upon a huge fear. There's growth I still have to do. So that's the thing. Like, I'm not pretending that's not the case. So it's up to you to embrace the best possible outcome for your life. It's up to you. It's not up to your AA support or a group to keep you in line or a higher power. It comes down to you. So one of the things I do like about AA is their personal accountability stuff. And don't get me wrong, I decided when I got sober I wasn't going to go around whining to everyone trying to make it better. Like, I'm so sorry I did this to you. Knowing that half the people who I did shitty things to, more than half of them did shitty things to me too. And maybe I wasn't regulating well enough to have dealt with them properly. But generally, when I got fucking real mad at somebody, like, part of them actually deserved it. So I didn't want to, you know, but still I made an ass of myself a lot. I was very embarrassed about it, being the fact that everyone's going to see me as that for a long time to come. And I didn't want to go around and play this like, well, I'm sober now, let's make it better, you know. I wanted people to see for themselves that I changed, and if they weren't willing to see it, then I didn't need them all along. They weren't going to be part of my solution, and I didn't need to make it better for them, and they don't need to make it better for me. But if they can see me for who I am, then that's what all I could ask for. It's all I want, right? And who I am isn't perfect, but it is perfect. That's something else you got to realize when you want to get sober or change your life or change your view of yourself is develop a state of being perfect. I don't require you to imagine that you are perfect all the time. Nobody is. Nothing is really. Like, it's really hard to be perfect, and that's why it's kind of a word that's more or less clubbed people with for a long time. The idea of perfection, and well, yeah, no one's perfect. And, well, actually, you can sit there and empty yourself out, maybe in a meditative state or in a state of joy, or you can be in a state of perfection and seek that, want to be that, want to be in a state of perfection as much of the day as you can be in. And again, like, doesn't mean you don't make mistakes. I'm not saying that you are perfect, but in a way you are, just as you are. Realize that and then be it, right? Instead of beating yourself up all the time. Well, I'm not perfect. I'm shit. I fucked up a lot. I was an alcoholic, and my dad was mean and went to prison because I was a broken-hearted kid. Fuck, my whole life's been shit. Fucking, my divorce was nasty. Fucking, I can't get work in my town no more. All this stuff. It's like you can be really resentful of it all, and it's true. And you can use that to tell yourself that you probably deserved it, or that you are shit, or to keep you in a state of being shit. And that's the real struggle, is try to develop yourself into a state of perfection as much as you can, as often as you can, or recognize yourself as you're beautiful. You're perfect as you are. You don't need to overthink it or worry. You just gotta be it. Find out who you are and be it, and seek the good. Seek the good, move towards the good, move towards compassion, move towards seeing your effect on others. And maybe you always had that. And, maybe you always did see that your effect on others, and maybe that was part of the club you hit yourself with. I was shitty to others. I guess what it is like, I'm like way harder on myself than I would be on anybody else. And that was kind of like my way of saying to myself, well, see, I'm a good person. I hate me for when I make mistakes. Like, you won't recognize any of your mistakes, but even the smallest one that I make, or when I hurt somebody, I just take it so hard into the extreme. And that's what you do when you develop post-traumatic stress disorder, and B, have a history of diagnosable major depression. That comes from trauma. It comes from learning unhealthy ways to cope, learning unhealthy dialogues that literally do damage to your brain, to your neurons, to your nervous system, right? Your state of thinking can do damage to yourself in that way. So you gotta start developing states of thinking that maybe you can't undo all the damage, that can compensate and still allow you to live a state of feeling good about life and yourself despite it. But alcohol damages the brain. Depression, in some cases it's a physiological thing. You're born this way with higher genetic potential or whatever, and maybe that's true, being left-handed and extremely creative and extremely visual, that things were going to affect me and impact me in ways that I couldn't just cut it off from my brain and go to sleep after, because I see it. I can go to places and they're exactly as they were. I have a great brain in that way, but it punishes me. So develop states where you try to see yourself in a more positive light, and work towards that, want that, feel good about that, and have compassion for yourself. Move towards a state of wanting better. Move towards a state of accepting love and openness in a way that maybe I fully haven't moved into yet. I'm still quite closed and self-protective, and I wish I could change that. I'm trying. I know it's my struggle. A lot of me would rather just be a complete hermit for the rest of my life, and I'm trying to fight that. Pull, that temptation. And being a YouTuber is a big part of fighting that temptation, to talk every day. Even if I just want to fucking hide in my house, every day I'm talking. If I didn't talk to the YouTube, If I didn't talk to you guys, you subscribers and likers and sharers and friends and people who come back every day, I wouldn't talk to anybody a lot of days. I wouldn't talk at all. My voice wouldn't make sounds. Maybe I'd sing a couple songs here and there, but it wasn't until I got out wanting to play music again and actually doing it in Penticton that I started playing. So it's like that social interaction brings out more in me, not less. Anyways, that's been a fun walk today.